You have committed many crimes. In the early 2000s, 25 years removed from the Cannonball Run, Gumball in 2000, from 99 to 2005, 6, 7, was not yet like corrupted by the kind of unlimited money that always corrupts. Because the most fun things are the things where people have difficult tasks and limited money. That money might be $10,000, but to accomplish a $100,000 task for $10,000 is a task. So you still had really crazy fun characters. You had people come in a Honda Del Sol, and you had guys come in home-built cars. Charles Morgan would be there. You might have like a Porsche executive on vacation trying to pretend he wasn't there. And then, 3 or 4 dudes in the Middle East, princes. And then you have a bunch of folks that were kind of normal. That was like the golden era, where under the umbrella of Gumball as like almost a protective organization, there was like a real cannonball going on or something like. And the C2C didn't exist. The 2904 didn't exist. There was like nothing else to do if you wanted to do something like this. And so the teams from 99 and 2000 who did the Gumball, who had done it out 2 or 3 times, started to understand the rules. How do you bend the Gumball to become a real race? And so before tracking devices and smartphones, we were trying to come up with systems to track who left the start line at what time, because you've got a grid, and how to fairly calculate arrival at the finish line in a real way. Because the people at the finish line don't know who left first. And so whoever shows up first thinks they're the winner. And this is all on a handshake. And so every second counted long before the car started to move. And the best example of this is the last Gumball I did. The Gumball had now been overrun with people who had never done it before, who had unlimited cash. If they crashed a car, they could buy a new car. Or they bring a second car. They bring a tractor trailer with 3 cars. You have the guys coming with 2 SLRs, whatever. At the end of the day, you have to have a great strategy. So leaving London, crossing the channel tunnel is the choke point. And despite spending $20 or $30 or $50,000 for a Gumball entry fee, Gumball would just give you the standard channel entry pass. So Michael Ross, who's like a real life James Bond figure in my life, we had done this. We'd been down this road 3 or 4 times. The day before Gumball, Michael Ross and I drive down to the channel tunnel entrance at Dover. And we look at the menu of options. Among the options is first on, first off for an upgrade fee. And so I'm like, Ross was like, all right, let's get our tickets. I'm like, no. We get all the tickets. We buy them all. There's only one car that loads that way. It's ours. And if we want to give the first on, first off tickets people we like, we will. He's like, good thinking, Roy. So we buy them all. And so the next day, we're headed down. And of course, we get to the channel tunnel, and we just wave our passes, and everyone, all the Lamborghini Ferraris just lined up waiting behind this barricade, and we just go around and roll on, and they're trying to bribe the people, the loaders, to let them on the car with us, because we were clearly alone, and they weren't having any of it. And that bought us a good probably 10, 15 minutes on the other end, which is a good thing, because when you exit in France, the French are waiting. Knowing the Gumball is coming, the French authorities were just setting up as we unloaded. We just drove right through them as they're taking the cones out of the trucks. So this type of thinking is essential, because if you get behind the barricades, pace of barricades rising, by the end of day 1, you should just drive yourself straight to jail, because people don't even understand what it was like back then. We knew that the Belgian authorities were also going to be very unhappy about our arrival. We drove as fast as we could, which I think it was like 180 miles an hour through France to get the Belgian border. And as we arrived, what do you think happens? The Belgian police were just rolling out, the trucks, putting down the cones. And when they see us coming, they start running. The sound of like a Bentley at that speed approaching at night on a quiet road is quite terrifying. So we get through Belgium, and eventually we get to the German border. And I'm like, now we can open it up. So he's like, open it up. So whatever a Bentley GT could do in 2000, 7, flat out, we were doing it. An experience that would become pretty common in my life. There's winking lights behind us. But it's so far in the distance. And I said, and Ross is like, do you think we should slow down? I'm like, obviously not. It's probably an emergency vehicle. And they're probably just going in the same direction. He's like, they probably are. So it's Germany. There's no police cars in Germany. And eventually, there's like a second set of winking lights. And then there's like a third set. We have to pull over for gas. And I'm like, you know something? Let's just pull over right here. Let them go past. I'd feel more comfortable if they did. And 3 old BMW 3 Series pull over police cars. We're a right-hand drive vehicle, and I'm sitting in the left seat. And the officer approaches, and he says, you have committed many crimes, and you will pay for your crimes. Give me your documents. And I'm like, well, so Ross pulls out his wallet. He's like, no, yours. You are in the left. It's just your documents. So I unhappily hand over my driver's license. And the guy leaves, and Ross says, well, the good news is I brought lots of cash. It's sitting in an envelope in between the seats, and it's in high, euro increments. And the guy comes back, and he's like, you will pay a terrible price for your crimes. You will pay 20 euro. And so Ross, he's like, I don't think we have any bills that small. He's like, I've got like 500. I've got like, it's like, so I'm like, maybe we shouldn't open the envelope in front of him. And so instead of opening the envelope, which must have 10,000 euros of cash, we scramble through our pockets in the Bentley to piece together the change to give him the 20 euros, which we do. And he lets us go. And then I remember, we've been in the car for I don't even know how many hours, where that envelope came from. Probably 12 to 14 hours earlier, in the grid, in London, I was standing with an off-duty British police officer named Stephen. And he would always come and hang out. He was very cool. And he said to me, have you forgotten anything? And I said, Stephen, yes, I have forgotten something. I'm pretty sure I forgot my envelope full of bribery cash for the police in the continent in the hotel room. My business partner was drunk and was not capable of getting that cash. I said, Stephen, do you have your badge on you? Yes. Would you mind using it, going back to the hotel, getting into that room and opening that safe and bringing the cash back here? And he says, I'm not going to make it. Where will you be in like 18 minutes? Because I can make that. I'm like, I think we'll be approaching that bridge. He's like, I've got it. He pulls out his badge, runs through the crowd. Gumball starts. And 17 minutes later, we're at a bridge. And this panting officer, off duty, but wearing one of my orange Blitzeye jackets, shows up with the envelope. And I didn't really know this guy. I said, you know something? Anytime you come to New York City, you have an invitation to stay on my couch for the rest of time. And that guy was there exactly like 10 months later. And that person today is one of the best people I've ever met. And that person is Stephen YT, Blitzeye YT on Instagram and Facebook. He's the guy who does all the Forza skins. Because in his real life, he's a graphic designer. And that was the envelope of cash we used to bribe the German police to let us go.
Going somewhere in a hurry, ma'am? Let me explain your options.
Never mind, I got this.
TheTicketClinic.com